Are we live? Are we live? I think we may be. Figure it out here. I'll put this over here and this over here. How about that now? Somebody gets in here. Oh, we got one viewer. Who's that watching? Got two people watching now. What up, Master Chudy? Crumple Point may be coming in here later. I seen the link, so we'll see what he does. Let's see here. So how you guys doing? Everything going good? We're going to talk about some comic books. Isn't that crazy? We're going to be talking about comic books. That's something that a lot of the comic people don't do right now. We'll wait for it to get filled up a little bit in here. I know it's a crazy concept, isn't it? It's crazy to talk about comic books on the comic book hangout. Some people are starting to blow up my mentions over here. Let's see here. So somebody just mentioned Jean Grey can only exist as a character in any given comic for so long because she is so intrinsically tied to the Phoenix. I don't know what I think about that. I think she's always been kind of a side character. Hasn't really been anything besides that. I wish I had some mean tweets to read on here. That would be fun if people just wanted to roast me. But I think the thing is, I think I just don't do anything to really roast besides my accent. I mean, I think that's about the only thing. I mean, I just tell it how it is. What do you guys think? Mm-hmm. Oh, Nurkish is going to do a video later. Oh my gosh, I can't believe he's actually going to do a video. I thought Nurkish had kind of just given up doing videos. Oh, somebody's on here.
Hello, it's Crumple Point.
Look who it is.
How you doing, buddy?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm alright, how are you?
Good, good. So I was just going to do a comic book hangout, just kind of talk about comic books and talk about different interests and things like that. If other people can do it for 3 or 4 hours, we can do it for 20 to 30 minutes, an hour.
Yeah, man. Like if you get more people on board, that'd be cool. Because then that way, when I have to go, I don't feel like I'm letting you down, kind of thing.
You're letting me down automatically because you're British.
I'm sorry, man. I'm so sorry.
Are you British?
Yeah, British Scottish.
British Scottish. Okay.
It's the accent is Scotland, but I don't mind British. I think of myself as both, you know.
Do you ever do this thing? I do this thing when I'm talking to people that have accents or something like that. It's like I don't know if it's a human thing, but when someone's talking with an accent, you almost start talking with an accent yourself to kind of. I don't know if it makes it easier for the other people to understand you that way.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. I know a couple of people I've noticed them doing that. I think it's quite common.
It's just like a human thing. You just start mimicking people, and you almost feel bad that you're doing it, but it's like they can hear you better.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
Oh man.
I mean, that must be why people lose their accents if they move somewhere, you know?
Yeah, what's his name? What's the actor? Gary Oldman? Yeah, Gary Oldman. He's British, and he lived in America for so long that he lost his accent, had to take a class to get it back.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. And then you've got Gerard Butler, who his accent's a fucking car crash. Like,
It's awesome. I love to hear him talk because he talks out the side of his mouth.
oh yeah, but it's like he is using like both accents at once, and then like you say, he talks out the side of his face as well. So it's really weird.
He's got a new movie coming out called what's it? Wolves, something to do with wolves and sheep clothing or something like that. And he's like he's a dirty cop, but he's not a dirty cop. It's one of those stories where he's a cop, and the way he beats bad guys is he's meaner than them.
Oh, okay. Do you remember
Basically,
that? It sounds a bit like that Street Kings that Keanu Reeves
I was
did a
just
few.
about to say that. I love that movie.
That, yeah, it's really underrated. Like, I
I
mean, it
know.
wasn't like you know amazing film, like, but it like it was a good action movie. I thought it was really good.
I think the problem was it was when Keanu Reeves was first coming back into the game, and he was kind of a B star, and kind of under the radar.
I think everybody just wanted him to be like Neo again as well. So like when he went and did a role that was really different.
Hmm.
But I
Yeah,
don't.
that's
I
kind of
remember
like.
seeing one trailer
Oh,
for that movie too, and nothing else. So maybe it was like that. But it had loads of cool people in it. Like it had was it Chris Evans and Forrest Whitaker and um, Hugh Laurie was in it.
yeah, I felt bad for Chris Evans' character. I mean, he was a really good. I forgot he was even in that, but he did so well. I can't believe I forgot. I think it was Forrest Whitaker kind of overshadowed him.
Yeah, yeah. It was about Terry Crews. He was in it as well. I think.
Oh yeah, Terry Crews was in it. He did good.
Um,
Let's see, what was the? Oh, my favorite part of the whole movie is when he started sliding that refrigerator across the room and shoved that guy up against the wall, and then like jumped over it and shot him behind the refrigerator.
oh yeah, that was awesome. Yes.
Basically, just smashed him into the wall and just capped him across the refrigerator.
Yeah, man. Oh,
And he had that Dodge Charger SRT that he kept riding around with his little airplane bottles of vodka, drinking it.
yeah. And then Forrest Whitaker's like, you realize that like you're stinking of vodka. Like it's a complete myth that you don't smell
Yeah, it's like it stinks worse.
that.
But that was a really good movie, and I felt bad because I felt like it almost mirrored him in real life, but then he kind of showed that he was coming out of his slump because Keanu Reeves had a rough life.
Yeah, it was really sad actually what happened to him.
Didn't his wife die of cancer, and then his sister died of cancer?
Um, what? This could be wrong, but I think his kid died,
Might have been his kid.
and then his wife.
Hmm.
It was, or it might be the way you say it. Might have been like his sister and his wife. But but somebody died, and then him and his wife broke up, but they still spoke.
Yeah,
And then she died as well from something else, and that's when he got into his whole like Buddhism and all that. I don't know if it's Buddhism, but it's like meditation and shit.
yeah.
I think they
It seems
kind of
like.
wrote like John Wick for him specifically. Like I think it was one of these things where if he hadn't said yes, they wouldn't have bothered with the movie because of that. I don't know. I heard that somewhere. That might be a complete myth.
Oh, really? Let's see, I was sending a link there to somebody, see if anybody else wanted in. Um, so let me ask you something. Have you read any of the Silver Surfer that's been out that just ended?
No, I have not. But I watched your video earlier.
That was, I haven't read any of them because I can just watch, other people's reviews and not have to kill my brain cells.
Yep,
And
that's what I did.
so I watched Diversity Comics' video, and it triggered me so hard that I had to do my own video.
uh,
Like I walk outside and I'm triggered. Okay, I wake up in the morning and I'm triggered.
I'm not. I'm not joking. Like I was. Like when somebody falls over and really hurts themselves, and you make that ooh face.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I was making that face all the way through Diversity's video, and then he stopped, and then I got the notification to say you'd made one as well, and then
Hmm.
I clicked on it, and you were like, you said you'd already seen his, so I knew it wouldn't be exactly the same. And then you started, and I was making the face again. I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit, this is painful.
It's so bad. Hey, we're lightening up a little bit, Waffle Davy. We're lightening up right now because we're talking about maybe one of the worst comic books out right now.
Oh, it's a shame as well, like, because the thing died because he wouldn't fucking publicize it.
I
Like,
know.
oh man, I was in that same boat as everyone else. Of I didn't know about it until it was cancelled, and like Slot blocked me for no reason. I had never interacted with him or mentioned him by name in anything either. I
Hmm.
know I shit on him a bit now, but that's because he's blocked me. And I'm in a huff with him. But uh, so I didn't know about it until it was cancelled, and I'm like, dude, what the hell?
But yeah, see, that was the whole thing. Like we were trying to tell him, dude, you're not promoting your book, and all he would ever tell us is blocked. It's like he doesn't listen to anybody except his buddies or something.
And it really was friendly advice for most people. It really was like, mate, you know, it wasn't nasty. Most of what I saw was not nasty in the least.
Uh-uh.
And then,
So here's the deal is, like I said before, everything to an SJW, whether it be verbal, whether it be social media, whether it be in person or anything, every time they have a discussion where somebody else happens to disagree with anything that they're doing, it's automatically life or death every time. Like they believe that they're fighting for their life,
yeah,
so
they
it's
have no sense
very
of
defensive.
proportion.
Hmm.
That isn't like
It's
all. That's a weird thing, like, because some guys who agree with us do it, but all of them do it, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So
I
maybe
catch
like,
myself trying to do that sometimes. I'm like, wow, that it doesn't matter, dude. Just let it go.
yeah, totally. That's why I always say to people on Twitter, like, just when it stops being fun, put the phone down. Like,
Hmm.
because it's like a computer game. When you start getting angry at it, that's time to put the controller down and go get a drink or something.
Exactly.
Like,
They can't
it's
do
the
that
same with
though
Twitter.
because
If you're
they
if
think
you're
if they
taking it
do, they'll
serious,
die.
yeah, 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 totally.
You're talking about video games and getting mad at them. My little brother's like 10 years older or 10 years younger than me, and he would play video games, and where I would get mad sometimes and just quit playing. He would get so mad, like he was a kid. Now he's a little kid. This is not like a grown up doing this, but he would get so mad that he would drop the controller and he would just start screaming at the screen and he would start crying.
Oh God.
Like I thought he was gonna have an aneurysm. He was sitting there playing the game. It was like Super Smash Brothers on 64, and he would play that for 3 hours straight at a time sometimes. And he would get to the point where he couldn't beat somebody, about Captain Falcon or something like that. It was just a really annoying character. And he would get mad. He would just throw it down and start crying.
Oh dear. I don't think I've ever seen anybody quite that bad. I swear a lot. If it's I'm pretty good with games in that if I fuck up and it's my fault, I'll get a bit annoyed, but I'll realize it's my fault. But if the game fucks up, I go mental. I
Yeah.
just I go full spurg and just rage at it. But like if it's something like Dark Souls, which glitches a lot, like that'll make me rage. But if it's like just a difficult game, then it's just like, nah, I fucked up. It's my bad.
Everybody played up Dark Souls, and I think I was hearing the wrong people talk about it, and they said, "Oh man, it's going to be like the best game. It's going to be the best game." And so I went and got it, and I hated it. I went and took it right back. I returned it the same day.
Oh man. See,
I guess it was just too hard. I don't know.
I was kind of lucky because I hadn't heard a word about it, and I
Hmm.
think I got it for free on Gold, and
Yeah.
just fired it up of a weekend and got into it. So I didn't hear anything about it beforehand. I think if it had been hyped, I probably would have hated it as well.
Uh huh.
But
Yeah.
fortunately, I had no idea about it.
Did you did you watch? Do you ever watch Micah Curtis on YouTube?
Yeah, yeah, I watched a few of his things.
Did you see where he did a live stream this morning of Dead Space?
No, no.
He was doing a live stream this morning where it was like say goodbye to Dead Space, and he was playing it. And I was on their comment and stuff, and I was like, "Why are you?" I don't know what time zone he's in, but it was like 7:30 in the morning my time zone, and he was playing that game, the live streaming. so I don't know where he lives. But he was playing that game, and that was one of the most fun games I've ever played.
I've never played it, and not for like any reason. Just it's one of these things I never got around to it.
Hmm.
But
You
I'm
need
sure I'll
you
play it
need to
one day.
play it. You can probably get it on the cheap now because they already have like a one and a two,
Yeah, yeah,
and it was one of those games that generally scared me.
yeah. I heard that the first one was scarier, and the second one it wasn't as scary, but it was kind of more fun. I don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
I used to play it. I would turn the lights off. I would turn all the lights off, and I would turn the surround sound on when I played it.
yeah, that's the way to do it.
I'm talking like I was jumping and with the controller just kind of moving around. Like if I moved, like the guy would move.
Oh man, I'm so bad for doing that on driving games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm constantly like leaning into corners and everything.
Um. Let's see. Yeah, Dead Space was a really good one. I liked it. It was one of the only games that I ever finished. And also, I don't know if you ever played Dead Island.
No, no, I never played that one either.
Do you even game?
No, I have this weird collection of games where like loads of people have played the games I've played, but like all the classics I seem to have like fucking missed somehow. I don't know how it happened. It's like so all like if it's from Japan, I probably haven't played it, and then you've got like yeah, Dead Island and like most of is Metal Gear Solid, that's Japanese as well, isn't it? I've played like a couple hours of that,
Yeah.
and it's like I missed all these massive titles.
Wavy, you're not a loser. You're only a loser if you leave the stream. Then you'll be a loser. But if as long as you don't leave the stream, you're good, Waffle.
Oh, I have to stay here forever. Great.
Waffle Davy was like, "Why am I a loser?" And I because I called him loser because I thought he was leaving the stream for Zach, and then he didn't leave, and I was like, "Oh."
Oh, he was going to cheat on us.
I know he was going to cheat on us. And see, that's the thing that I like to do. Like I've started doing these live streams because just because one person does a stream doesn't mean that everybody needs to go to that one stream. Like it's okay to go to different streams at one time and hear different people. Like you don't always have to listen to the same guy.
Yeah, I had a good time hopping over. There was like three going on at once, and I was just hopping around them one night.
Yeah, yeah, I do that too.
But
Well, the
yeah,
thing
no,
is,
like there's been a lot of
oh,
live streams going on, and I'm just trying to get to know everybody. So like, yeah, I'm hopping on all of them.
do you watch the Mank Geek on YouTube?
Oh yeah, he's awesome. I like him.
Yeah, I like him too. I didn't know he was. I guess he's about the same size as us. As far as uh, I thought he was a little bit bigger. I think he's got a lot more subs, but I don't think his Twitter's that big.
See, I'm punching above my weight, I think, because I've only got like 110 subscribers, but like I seem to kind of know a lot of people, if that makes sense. So
Hmm.
like I don't know, like I'll talk to Frugal or I'll talk to you or I'll talk to Captain Cummings or whatever, but it's like my subs do not equal the amount of people I speak to. It's weird.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of like me. Like I've only got around, I think, like 400 subs or something like that right now, which I think is kind of good because I haven't been here very long at all. Um, but I definitely think that some people need a lot more subs. Like I've noticed some guys have really good videos, but they don't have that many subs. I think they just haven't got that enough FaceTime to kind of get people's attention yet.
Yeah, YouTube are being a bit weird just now as well. I've noticed that a lot of people are doing. They did the adpocalypse thing, and
Hmm.
then I noticed that they revamped the whole site. Like, you know how it looks different now?
Yeah,
And then after they did that, I noticed that a lot of smaller channels started to actually get more exposure.
yeah.
But no, yeah, I love Big A. He's great. And then yeah, I think he needs more. I think you need more. And then there's a guy I'm quite pally with who is he's called Flatmeister.
Hmm.
And there's Switchpoint, and I think they need more subs as well. Switchpoint does a lot of gaming stuff, and he doesn't upload quite as frequently as Flatmeister. But Flatmeister, he's pretty funny, like, and he's got far fewer subs than he should. But no, yeah, I think you should probably have more, especially considering how often you upload. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I have a lot of downtime at work, so I try to do different videos because it really just started out kind of opinions and things, and then people started wanting me to do reviews, and I like to do reviews because sometimes it can save people money because
Yeah,
if they're going
yeah.
to buy a bad book, you know. But hey, welcome Jose, welcome Matt Hayes 2000, and the accent that you're hearing is southeastern United States and the middle of nowhere, England.
Scotland.
Scotland. Gosh,
Don't
it's the
worry, I
same.
won't get I won't get triggered by it. I'm not one of those.
Let me go ahead and say it's the same thing, only different.
Ah, okay, now I'm triggered.
Now, Scotland, is that where the Highlanders from?
Loosely, yeah.
Because I remember he had the kilt.
Yeah, yeah, that's us.
He was. Let me go ahead and tell you, my dad was the biggest Highlander fan ever.
It's a
I don't
good
know
film, like
if
well,
you
the first one anyway.
I don't know if you watch much of it, but like he joined this like movie club, and so he bought every Highlander movie. He bought every Highlander TV show. He bought like all these like the cartoon TV show that they had. He bought that for me. He bought me all these action figures from the Highlander. I never knew this stuff existed, and he had everything.
See, I only watched the first one. I was just talking about this on another stream with Switchpoint and a couple other guys. I had to go away and do stuff, and then you said you were coming on, so I thought I'd come talk to you for a bit. But they were talking about bloody Highlander as well, and it was like, I've only watched the first one, and it always makes me laugh because Christopher Lambert is a Frenchman playing a Scottish
Oh,
guy who's been trained by a Spanish guy who's actually Scottish because Sean Connery's obviously Scottish. It's like, what? There's what?
yeah,
But yeah,
that's one of those
that's me.
situations. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying, yeah, that's my part of the world. We'll need to tell. Was it Dark Philly and Nerd Wonder that we're saying we're going to have the accent hour?
Yeah, I know. I was trying to get a hold of her. See, Dark Philly's got some fun family stuff going on for the next couple of days that she doesn't really want me to tell anybody about, so she may not be available. But I need to tell some other people. I think everybody kind of went dark here for a second. Nobody's really like on Twitter or anything.
Yeah, it's that time of day.
I always pick the worst times.
Seeing like half an hour, just like around the time I go to bed, it's going to light up like fuck.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because I always wake up. It'll be an hour before I go to bed. It's dead. So I don't know what time that is American. It's maybe like dinner time
Um,
for you guys. And then I
yeah.
wake
It's
up in the
like
morning. I've got like 50 notifications or like 100 notifications. Like fuck's sake.
it's yeah. It's 6:50 p.m. where I'm at right now.
I think that's a lot of the problem some people are having with getting the community together as well as time zones. Because I mean, it's difficult enough in America with all the time zones, and then you come over to Europe, and it's like
Waffle Davy wants to know when we go to bed. I go to bed when I'm tired. When do you go to bed, Crumble?
between 12 and 1.
Wow.
So it would usually be now, but because I love Underground Geek so much, I'm staying up.
See, look. um,
See,
let's
the thing
see.
is, I've got really bad insomnia, so I
Mhm.
have to stay super rigid when I go to bed, or I just don't sleep at all.
Mm. Well, so let's talk about some comic books here. Somebody's talking about Splato on there. Yeah, let's see. Highlander was a good movie, Man of Action. I think it was. Um, so, did you read that? What was it? The House of Horror DC yet?
No, I've not read that.
Uh, I'm probably going to read it now because I was looking at some of Dark Philly's tweets and it looked really, really cringy. So I may read it just to roast it.
Yeah, I think like I didn't even realize some of them were new. I thought it was like from the 80s or something because
Uh-huh.
it was like just the way it was done. It looked really cringy.
Yeah, it worries me now. Like she was she was showing the pages and some of the jokes and stuff, and I was like, oh gosh. Because I was thinking, man, this might slip in here and be pretty good, you know. And now I'm worried.
Do you know what it is? Is DC have managed to make like even the most ridiculous ideas work really well, and I think they're a way to overplay their hand.
Yeah, everybody tends to do that. Like if you're doing big, you keep going big until it fails, pretty much, you know. They don't know when to stop sometimes.
Nah, I think it's just they wanted some good old fashioned Halloween nonsense and they ran
Hmm.
with that. I don't think it's a trend. I hope it's not a trend.
Yeah. Well, I hope Mags is not a trend either.
Oh Christ. But like what you were saying about the Silver Surfer as well, that was a huge waste. Like my only exposure to the Silver Surfer is like literally a couple of second-hand floppies I found
Hmm.
and the cartoon. And the cartoon got pretty repetitive pretty quickly, but I did really like it and I really liked the character. And so that would have been a prime opportunity to get somebody like me back into that character. Like I know about Galactus, but mainly the Fantastic Four side.
Uh-huh.
And then so to if they'd again, I wouldn't have read the book because it was so cringy. But what I mean is, if they'd got a good writer, if they'd made the commitment, let's make
If
Silver
only.
Surfer cool again. I would have totally been up for that because I really like the idea of the character. I mean, he fucking jumps between planets on a surfboard. What's not to love? And they just fluffed it.
Yeah, I mean, you know that he pushed for that book because you know he kept talking about how much he loves Silver Surfer and all this blah blah blah. And so they give him the book, and he totally tries to turn it into Doctor Who.
Yes, it was really transparent.
And it's so bad because not that many people like Doctor Who. I mean, they keep saying this is big old fan base. I think people like the idea of Doctor Who, and they don't really watch Doctor Who. You know what I mean?
Yes, as somebody who watches Doctor Who, sometimes I agree. But like I'm backwards when it comes. What happened with Doctor Who was they had
You're
this. They brought it
you're
back, right?
wrong, Jose Jimenez. You're wrong. Nobody likes Doctor Who. I'm just kidding. Anyway, keep going, Chrome Point.
they 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 brought it back. You know, like they made it a thing again,
Uh-huh.
and I kind of didn't pay much attention to it, right? And then they brought on this writer that everybody hated, and I watched pretty much every episode he did and loved every single one. And then he's left now, and I'm probably going to stop watching it. But everybody in the fandom's like, "Oh yay, he's finally left!" Like, so I'm backwards when it comes to fandom. But I really don't like the Doctor Who fandom. They put me off the show a lot.
Yeah, and it's that SJW thing. It's kind of slipping into everything because they don't really like something. They just don't want anybody else to have it.
Yeah, there's an element of that sort of elitism, but there's also a thing of like, you know how we will all get together and we'll share memes and have jokes and all that sort of.
Hmm.
Their stuff is all like there's no humor to the like. Maybe I'm just not in the right circles. I don't want to like tar everybody with the same brush. But every time I've tried to get into the Doctor Who fandom because I really like the mythos and I've watched a lot of episodes. Um, every time I try to get in the fandom, it's either like gay porn fanfic or just weird. They're not memes. They're just like screen captures from it with like romantic quotes, and it's like this is a very strange place. I don't want to be here. So I come
Yeah,
back to the superhero one to be safe.
they all
I've
seem
got a
like
safe space.
they all seem like very bitter people, like people that have been very used and abused and thrown away, and they just have no humor left in their life.
Yeah, I don't know because I know a lot of people who love Doctor Who, but they will not get involved in the fandom for the same reasons as me. So I talk to friends about it, but none of us are in the community, if you will. For
I
the
know
it's just
I
and
know
like
nothing about Doctor Who, so you know I'll probably never be a fan of
I think
it.
it's slightly overhyped. Like it's a really good fun show,
Hmm.
and it can be very thought provoking and very fun, kind of like Star Trek and all that could be.
Hmm.
But I think people overdo it so that when, particularly for Americans who they think it's as British as the Queen. They're like, oh, I better get into this, and then it's kind of disappointing to them, and it's
Yeah.
like you shouldn't have hyped it up so much. It's just a good TV show. It's not life.
Do you think it's kind of like Farscape or Stargate SG-1 or something like that?
Oh yeah, no, good example, Farscape, because that was what happened to me. Super overhyped and didn't like it.
Because
Um,
I like the
and
TV
never really got
show,
back
but
into it.
I like the TV show when it was on, but it's not really a show that I want to go back to.
Yeah, I'm a massive Stargate SG-1 fan, but again, I think that it's like people tend to remember the greatest hits, so they'll tell people about that, and then the new person is like, "Oh wow, this sounds like life changing." It's like, no, that's come on, that's every fifth episode. Like that is that good, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Stargate SG-1 it was kind of like Legends of Tomorrow because Legends of Tomorrow will have a really good episode and then it have like two or three filler episodes and then a really good episode. You know, I don't know if you watch that show, Legends of Tomorrow, that's on now.
Yeah, yeah. I quite like it. I'm pretty much in agreement with you. Like, I don't know, what do you think of it?
I like the show. I think this season's probably the best season they've had in a long time. But you know, it's one of those
Yes.
where it's I only watch it because certain people are on there,
Also,
and
yes.
I only watch it because Rory's on there and the White Canary's on there.
See, I like Atom. I agree on Rory, and I really like Professor Stein.
Yeah, he's pretty
I
funny.
hate the pseudoscience. It's the character I like. It's like they give him these stupid pseudoscience lines, but I really like the character himself. Um, because he's got a lot of interesting stuff. Because he's not actually useful to the team, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. So,
Hmm.
like on paper, so they have to do stuff to make him useful and kind of give him a bit of charm. Whereas, like Jackson, if he's not part of Firestorm, can still punch somebody at least, But like
Yeah.
Stein is a little bit stuck, so they have to make him interesting. But I think that Legends. I watched it with a mate of mine. We watched the Arrow, the Flash, and the Legends finales, and the Legend one was the only one that felt like a finale.
Yeah. Hey, welcome, Doug. Welcome, Dark Philly. Doug Ernst is
Hello,
here.
everyone. I can't see the chat because I'm on my phone, but hello, everybody.
Thanks for coming, Doug. I know that you're pretty high profile, so thanks for visiting
Oh, is it
us.
Doug Ernst?
Yeah, he's here.
Oh, hey, man. And Dark Philly, you've got your accent hour that you wanted. But hey, oh, that's cool that Doug's on. I'm well chuffed.
um, so yeah, Legends of Tomorrow. Did you watch the circus episode with Billy Zane in it?
No, I think I might have skipped that one.
Oh man, it was this new season. It's like it's been what, one or two episodes ago. Um, it had Billy Zane in it as Barnum or Bailey. Yeah, one of the guys, Barnum or Bailey for the circus.
Nah, I don't think I saw that one.
I love Billy Zane. He's a very underused actor. He must have done something wrong, or he's got a family and he doesn't care anymore because he's a really good actor.
Oh, who knows with all the sorts of Hollywood drama and stuff that goes on.
Exactly.
But
Hey, Captain
no,
Frugal.
I must have missed that one. It's see, what happens over here is because we can't
Billy
watch it.
Zane's still alive. Yes, Billy Zane is still alive. Oh. But anyway,
Yeah,
what were
they
you
got
saying
a pair.
about?
The reason he's on Legends of Tomorrow is they got a set of jumper cables and they just kept that attached to him the whole time. And then when the episode was done, they just let him.
Yes. Oh, Man of Action. I did love the Phantom. I remember watching that in the theater back when we had the old school theater here. The Phantom came out and everybody hated it, but I loved it.
I never saw that one.
That had Billy Zane in it, and he was. Do you know about the Phantom Crumble Point?
I know of the Phantom, and I've read like one old comic of it, but that's it.
Basically, he's like a combination of Batman and the Shadow. I guess is the best thing to compare it to. And basically, he stays on this island protecting the island, and he wears
Yeah,
a
yeah,
purple jumpsuit.
yeah. I know a little bit. Like I know that you get you like Hellboy, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Now, is Lobster Johnson meant to be a version of the Phantom?
I'm not sure. I don't know about Lobster Johnson that well. I know of him, but I don't know that much about him. Does anybody know about
Oh,
Lobster
because
Johnson?
I was just wondering if that was meant to be like Magnola's version of the Phantom.
There's somebody that's on Twitter that his name is Lobster Johnson. I guess we need to ask him.
Yeah, he's. I really like that guy. His current handle is Hellboy in a costume for Halloween. It's a Hellboy joke, but usually goes
Oh
by
yeah.
Lobster Johnson.
Somebody said yes. So maybe sort of. He says okay. So he's sort of like him. Um, there's that new Hellboy series out, the BPRD 1954 or something that's out. I bought the first and second issue, and I'm going to read it.
Yeah, my plan is to just wait and get them all like as trades eventually. Not the library editions. Just I'm completely skint just now, so I've got to be really picky with what I buy.
Hmm.
But like Hellboy and the BPRD, I wasn't that fussed about initially, but it was there Hellboy and the BPRD, and then they did different series where they started putting years on it after that.
Yeah, yeah. And somebody
And
told
those are
me
the
that.
ones that I keep thinking I really enjoy. But Hellboy and the BPRD I wasn't super thrilled about, but Hellboy and the BPRD with a year after it, I was like, oh wow, this is so cool.
Yeah, they started doing different ones, and I think the other one is better than this one.
Hmm.
But they said that this one's pretty good. I just liked it because I think issue three or so had a really cool cover, and that's what got my attention. It was like a giant monster
Yes,
snapping turtle on
yes.
it or something.
It was something weird like that. And Magnolia was it Magnolia did the cover for this one, or was it somebody else guesting? I can't remember.
I think it was a different one. I know he did the first two because it has his name on there, but I don't know if he did that one. Um,
Yeah,
you
it
know,
popped up on Twitter yesterday, but I don't think. Oh, I can't remember.
see, that's the problem with Marvel right now. They keep getting these guys to do really good covers, and then you get the book and it's nothing like the cover.
Yeah, I think what they're doing is, I think they're getting all the covers made ahead of time,
Hmm.
and
I
just
think so
they've got a
too.
bank of covers with characters, and they just buy the cover, and it just sits in the Marvel cover bank, and then when they need a cover, they just take it out of the file or whatever. And
Yeah,
with Ethan Van Sciver, he was explaining about how some covers get made, and I was like, that would make sense if Marvel or if that costs more money, the way Ethan Van Sciver was saying. Maybe Marvel just
yeah,
to have a store of old covers that they bring out.
and that's a really good business idea, but it's a sucky idea for fans.
Well, yeah, when you get a fake news cover, it's really annoying.
Like I read that Superman the other day, and I don't know if you watched my video, but I laid it down on the table. And I said, "Look at how cool this cover is." Well, guess what? None of that happens inside.
Yeah, I was waiting for it. I was like, oh, yay. And then you're like, nah. I was like, fuck's sake.
It's like the Hulk book the other day where I did the review, and it was like, "This book sucks," but the cover was really good. But then I was like, "This book sucks." Read Thor versus Hulk. Bye.
Yeah, that made me laugh a lot. And
I don't
then,
know if you're reading. Oh, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say Frugal shared one after that. It was him with the machine gun. It's just like the two best reviews. It's like, don't read this, shoot this.
um, are you reading Thor versus Hulk Champions of the Universe right now?
Nah, nah.
It's like a little spinoff.
I'll be honest. Aside from a couple of trades I've got waiting, the only thing I am picking up is White Knight because I have not got enough money for anything else. But
Oh, I
I'm
totally
keeping track
understand.
of everything with videos and the occasional article that is not bleeding cool. But
Hmm.
aside from that, I'm just keeping track of what I want to buy in the future. I'm not really picking anything up. But yeah, Thor versus Hulk, you're saying?
Yeah, it's really funny because they do no promoting for this book whatsoever, and it's probably one of the best books that they have out right now.
Typical.
Exactly. And I know it's just a short run. I think they're only going to do like 6 or 7 issues because that it's a story that can be told in that much time. But the artwork is classic Marvel, like bright and colorful, and the dialogue is funny and quippy. And except for a couple of times, there's a little bit of cringe, but I mean, you can't hit them all out of the park. But the artwork is really good, and then the title pages are just like classic, like pictures of each other, even each one of them. And one says uh, Thor, God of Thunder, Asgard, blah blah, done. Okay, and then the next one says Hulk, Bruce Banner, hit with gamma radiation, big green monster.
See, I
You know,
like stuff like that just like, here it is, no nonsense. Let's get going.
yeah, because
But
like they have that
tell you
new
what, I
title
don't
page.
like
Oh, go ahead.
is blooming Marvel bringing out good books and not telling me they exist. This happened
Exactly.
with Cable and Thanos as well. If I hadn't been watching, I think it was
Bye,
Diversity in
Waffle.
Comics, I wouldn't have known about Thanos, and if I hadn't been watching you, I wouldn't have known about Cable.
Cable was really good. It surprised me. Like I forget who told me about Cable. It may have been Diversity in Comics, but then I went and picked it up, and I was like, "This is classic Marvel right here."
Yep, it looked like it, and it was nothing too ridiculous. Although I'll be honest with you, I think the finale does look a bit fucking silly, but
I
but
can't
hey
remember
ho,
what
at
happened
least
in
it
the
looked
last
like a
issue,
finale.
but he, it's really good. It's good books because there's a beginning, middle, and end, and he has something to do the entire issue. And there's a bad guy, clear bad guy, and he has to beat said bad guy. That's the way comic books are. That's when comic books are good. Like, did you read or did you see anything about the Despicable Deadpool that came out?
No, 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 no. I'm avoiding Deadpool like the plague just now, and I love
See,
Deadpool, but
that's the problem with Deadpool is they've oversaturated him to the point to where good books don't matter because everybody's just tired of him.
it's just like, I, I watch all these titles coming out with Deadpool, and I'm just like, you were the chosen one. Like, it's just he's turned into an absolute mess. Like, I would not be
It
drawing
has.
comics if it wasn't for Deadpool because um I was always a big comics fan. I always drew like still pictures, like covers basically. But it was only when
Yeah.
I was reading the Liefeld Deadpool, then the Fabian Nicieza, and then I think it was Mark Waid, and it was Joe Kelly after that, and I just read all those, and that's what made me want to draw action scenes, and the action scenes made me want to make stories and so on. So,
That's
and he
cool.
was always a badass. He was just like a funny guy who did badass things, but it was just him speaking that was funny.
Hmm.
And then now he's just a oh.
Well, he's not the same anymore. They've watered him down to the point to where if he pops up, you're kind of just like, go away. He's almost like the TV shows where they used to have they had everybody interacting, then they had that one annoying guy that would pop up, and they're like, oh no, there he is.
Yeah.
And so that's what he's become. He's become a joke as opposed to what he was is like a really cool side character that was really good at kicking butt.
Deadpool is just that fucking. Is it David S. Pumpkins
I'm not sure.
from the Saturday Night Live sketch? It's not even funny, by the way.
Oh,
And like the door opens and they're just like, "Oh God, not him again!" And that is what Deadpool is. Where like he used
exactly.
to be one of my like top three favorites, and now I just don't want to see him.
He's like an unfunny Jughead. He just pops up and you're just kind of like, oh gosh, there's Jughead.
And then everybody else has to behave like a retard for him to make sense.
Exactly.
Like it used to
Um,
be that he would pop into a story and fuck everything up because they're trying to have this serious story, and then Deadpool is making fun of them, but he's still part of the story. But now
yeah.
it's like everybody behaves completely out of character, and the continuity has to go out. Not that Marvel really have much in the way of continuity, but
Well, the problem is you've got these people that don't know how to write separate characters because they don't have enough experience because they're new and somebody's paying them 75 cents on the dollar.
yep.
And like I was saying about the Despicable Deadpool, what's bad about that is it's a good book. Like I read issue one, and it's really good because like he's after Cable. Somebody has tricked him. Somebody has blackmailed him into having to kill Cable, and Cable is basically running from him.
Oh,
And he's using. I didn't know this, but Cable has like an AI system in his arm that talks to him. And
I think that's is that new? Shit, I can't remember. In Cable Deadpool, I think that AI system was still there, but I don't think it was in his arm because
it kind of
the
pops. It looks like a tattoo. One of those pinup tattoos of like the girl on the missile or the girl on the plane, and it kind of talks to him every now and then.
no, I think
Uh,
that's new.
Basically, it's Jarvis is what it is basically. But
It
it
reminds
was
me
talking.
of. Did you ever read Rogue Trooper?
No.
Rogue Trooper is from 2000 AD in the 80s, and he's like a dead soldier, but they no, was he? I can't remember whether he was like Frankensteined back alive or whether he was built. But anyway, he's like this android soldier, and he's the perfect killing machine. But his gun has an AI, and so does his helmet, and they do different jobs. So it's kind of
Oh,
like three characters in one,
that's kind of
and it
cool.
sounds a little bit like that.
Well, this one gets pretty cool, and like Cable has actually like he. I think Deadpool cuts his arm off, and then Deadpool cuts his own arm off and sticks Cable's arm on there.
Oh, is that what the cover was for?
Yeah,
Right, because I thought it was another fake news cover,
yeah, it's the
but
real deal.
clearly,
Like he takes it over there, and he has something to hack the arm, and basically he's trying to use the issue ends with him having to use the arm to try to track Cable down.
right, all right.
So it's actually pretty cool. And I was thinking, wow, why don't they just like quit all the other ones and just do that one?
Yeah, like the one where he's an actual character. And him and Cable go so well together. Like, okay, maybe it's been done before, but at this stage, whatever works, works.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you take a serious character and a funny character. He's a comic relief, except for he's a comic relief that's trying to kill you, so it's even better.
Yeah, and Cable is like a serious character who can play along as well, so it works. Like, he's a serious character, but he's not immune to jokes, you know?
It would be kind of like if you had like Kurt Russell or John Wayne and you team them up with like Chris Tucker or Jim Carrey or something.
Yes, but with like crazy bloodlust. But yeah, no, I get what you mean.
Oh yeah, or Ryan Reynolds. I mean, Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool, so he would be good to play.
Oh
Uh,
man, yeah, I was so worried when they cast him because like Deadpool in my mind had always been I know he's meant to be funny, but I think in my head, like if he's not scary, then you've missed the point. Like when he gets angry, he's got to be scary.
mm-hmm.
So like the point at which Deadpool stops being funny is the time to worry, you kind of thing.
Oh
And
yeah.
do you remember Gears of War?
Oh yes, I do.
So I always imagined him talking like John DiMaggio,
hmm
maybe not quite Marcus Phoenix, but that sort of voice. So then when I heard they cast Ryan Reynolds, it was just the wrong voice in my head, and he'd never been in anything where I thought he was particularly good. But like, see, when I saw it in the cinema, I was like, oh, oh, thank God, this is so good.
Yeah, I remember Gears of War because of the chainsaws. That was the only reason I played. I would just chainsaw everybody. Like I was just running
Oh
around
yeah,
and they would just hear me.
too right. I think my best chain online was 11 before I got killed.
Oh wow.
11 chainsaws in a row. I couldn't believe
It's almost like being the shotgun guy on Rainbow Six.
it.
You just hear him coming, and it's like, bah, 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 bah.
Fucking death wish.
Oh yeah, that reminds me of the Expendables on that scene when Terry Crews showed up with that automatic shotgun and started mowing everybody down.
Oh shit, which was that the third one? Because I didn't see the third one.
It was the very first one.
How the hell do I not remember
Like
that part?
we were watching that movie in the theaters, and like we thought Sylvester Stallone was fixing to get killed because he was just getting. They were firing at him. They had nowhere to go, and then all of a sudden you just start hearing this. Bah, 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 bah. I mean, it just starts. It silences everything else. You can't even hear anything over that gun. And like people in the theater were actually jumping up and yelling and screaming. They were so
Oh
excited.
shit. Oh dear.
But yeah, Dark Philly, it's pop, pop, pop. That's an inside joke between me and Dark Philly because I did a Defenders review, and Copperhead shot Black Cat, and the sound effect was pop, pop, pop.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, is that a gangster reference? Because usually it would go like kablam, 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 or
Oh
bang,
yeah,
bang,
it's like
bang,
a
or
rap
something.
thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and I was like, wow, did they just do that? Did they just go there?
Oh god,
Anyway,
Defenders.
Copperhead would never be able to shoot Black Cat. That was just ridiculous.
I really don't like Black Cat, which is an extremely unpopular opinion, but I've always hated her. Like,
She's an antagonization, really. She's just that annoying thing that always pops up to kind of ruin Spider-Man's day.
yeah, but like the thing is, she's not supposed. I'm not supposed to feel the same way as Spidey. You know, I'm not supposed to be. Oh, get out of my comic. Like,
Oh
um,
yeah. Well, I always liked her. She was one of my favorite characters in the animated series.
yeah, everybody seems to love her, and I'm just like, did I miss something? But hey ho.
It may have something to do with the eyes and the way that she was portrayed on the screen. That may have something to do with it. I'm not
I
sure.
think I think it was more just like for me, it was just I don't like it when characters can kind of behave a certain way and then there's no consequences for it. So I felt that she never got any bad consequences. And then when they gave her that power, I'm sure they added that on later, the power of the bad luck thing.
Hmm.
And I was like, that's not a power. Come on. Like,
Well,
that's
Domino has
magic.
that.
Hmm?
Domino has that.
Yeah, but it always annoyed me on her as well. It's like it's like that's like magic. Like how does the universe know that that guy like no.
Well, see, Domino's was actually explained because basically they were saying that she knew statistics about the situation, like she knew the chances of it happening, so that she
Yes.
would fall into the certain, or she would move a certain way, or she would do a certain thing, almost like that guy, the Inhuman, that can find all the weak points in something. It was
Oh,
almost like
Karnak,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, Frugal,
yeah,
hey.
Domino's made they tried to make it make a little bit more sense and it was more like flow state for her, but like with with Black Cat it's just like also surely like if Black Cat, right, if you want to kill Black Cat, all
Mm-hmm.
you do to manage it is shoot to miss, because then her bad luck power will activate and you won't miss.
True. They should have made it some kind of amulet. That would have been better to me.
Or just anything would have been better, but
Because
yeah,
she's a
hey ho.
thief, so maybe she stole the amulet and now she wears it to help her steal things.
Yeah. What did you think of Defenders, like the TV series or the comic, either or?
This new comic is terrible. The TV series got better about the sixth episode on. It totally
Oh,
flipped
it
on
really? Because I'm
flipped on its
stuck on
head.
episode 6.
It flipped on its head at episode six and became a completely different show.
Oh, so I've got to persevere then, because
Yeah,
that's where
because
I stopped.
the show ends very dramatic and very sad, and like you actually feel for the characters. Uh, so definitely watch that because it has a lot to do with Daredevil, and he's one of my favorite characters.
All right, okay, I will do.
And the other ones are kind of just, this is the Daredevil show. The other guys are just there.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it seemed weird that the story's about Danny, but Daredevil's the most interesting part of the story, and then you've got Jessica Jones and Luke Cage are just kind of there
Hmm.
because they should be, and it's like I don't know. But the thing is, they were still recapping by by issue, not issue, episode 5, and they're still recapping stuff. It's like I fucking watched it. I know it happened.
Yeah, I think the problem is they're all out to make, of course they're out to make money. That's the main priority. And if you make something to where somebody can just come in and watch it and they don't have to know anything about anything else and you just fill them in, that's the best route to make money. And so that's what they're out to do.
Yeah, yeah.
But there was something else I was going to tell you about that. Are you excited about the Punisher show?
Oh yes.
I really am. Everybody keeps dogging it, and I'm like, you're stupid. This show's going to be awesome.
I think it's just you know how like you've got the comic book media, and they'll
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it. They seem to have this hive mind where they form an opinion, then they
It's almost like they just talk to each other and then just put whatever the collective thinks.
yeah. Um, but like I remember uh, with a lot of
Oops.
the superhero films that have come out, they'll say it's going to be shit, and then they'll say um halfway through, oh no, it's going to be amazing, and then at the last minute they'll change their mind and say it's going to be good again because one of them discovered something that means it's good, or vice versa. They might change, you know, where they end up, whether it's good or bad. And it's just like they did the same thing with Punisher. They said, oh, it's going to just be another spin-off, and then they're like, oh, it's going to be amazing, and then now at the last minute they're like, ah, it's terrible.
Exactly. I mean, this Punisher is probably going to be my favorite show. I can already tell you if they do it like they've done the commercials. Now, if it ends up to be one of those things where they do a bait and switch and the show's not actually like the commercial, then I'm going to be very upset. But this is the kind of Punisher I want. I want street level Punisher just taking people out.
Yep,
And
yep,
just like Daredevil, that's what Daredevil did. He just basically went down hallways beating people up for 2 seasons.
too right. That's what we want to see. Like we've got the films for the big crazy explosions and shit. We just want to see basically the Raid as TV series over and over again. That's what we want. But
Yeah.
the thing with the Punisher is, and I made a video about it, was I'm not sure, like, they've given him a very solid revenge story,
They kind of
which
already
I
did
don't
his
know if I
revenge.
like that. But like, you know how there's like, now it's, I know I'm guessing ahead of time, but like, there's the thing of whatever happened in Kandahar in Afghanistan, and he's got to go back and fix whatever that was because that
Yeah,
relates to Central Park murder. And I was like, I kind of prefer it when it's random, like, and he doesn't know who killed his family, so he just kills everybody. Like, I prefer it that way.
I
But
would
I'm not
prefer
going to
it if
diss the
they.
show for that. But I'm like,
I would prefer if they just started the show right after the first movie ended, like right where that ended. Let's do that show right there, where he's just fighting crime in the city, different adventures. It doesn't have to be related to anything, and I don't know. I would just like that.
yeah. What I would have done was um I would have done a season on each crime family. So I would have done like the Triads in season one, and then the Russian Mafia season two, Yakuza season three. Something like that.
Yeah,
And then like season four, the all of them get together to take him out and hire like I don't know Bushwhacker or Barracuda or something like that. But something very strange has happened, which is
Mhm.
I always hated Daredevil, always hated him, and thought the Punisher was like one of Marvel's best superheroes ever. And then what's happened was the TV series and specifically the way Charlie Cox does Matt Murdock. I'm totally rooting for Daredevil all the time now. And I'm like, what happened? I was always such a Punisher fanboy, and now look at me, I'm cheering Daredevil.
That's what good writing can do.
Honestly, yeah, I freaking I have watched the both Daredevil seasons three, perhaps four times each, which is completely autistic.
I wish I had time to do that. I just have to do mental imagery to remember.
I've watched them a ridiculous amount of times. Like I probably won't watch them again now. I've probably overdone it now, but they're just so good.
Oh yeah, he's Man of Action is talking about Jigsaw. I'm pretty sure that guy that he shotgunned in the face in this last season is going to come back as Jigsaw.
I don't know. He seemed a bit too low tier.
But he's a good actor though. I believe that guy was a pretty. I can't remember who it was, but it seems like it was a good actor. I can't remember before he got shotgunned in the face.
Oh, like the guy that trained him.
No, there was another guy. You remember when they had the Punisher taped to the chair and they were putting the drill in his leg and everything and torturing him?
Oh, the Irish guy.
Yeah, the Irish guy.
Yeah, he's one of those guys who's been in tons of things and like probably never even a named role, but you've seen his face. Yeah, I know who you're on about.
I'll have to look it up. I think it was it Daredevil season two,
Yeah, and he played the Irish guy, but I think he might actually be Scottish.
like everybody else.
Well, see what happens is if you cast a Scotsman or an Irishman, you have to deliberately not cast them as a Scotsman or an Irishman. Like if you get a Scottish character, you cannot have a Scotsman play him. It's just not allowed. Nobody knows why. It's just a rule, right?
um, are Scottish people and Irish people are they that angry at each other?
Uh, there's a whole load of politics around that.
So it's kind
But
of like
like
I don't know. It'd be kind of like America and Mexico a little bit, I guess. I don't know.
the way like Britain and the UK works is the Brits, the Irish, the Welsh, and the English all fucking hate each other. But the Brits, the Irish, and the Welsh kind of hate the English in a team, so it
Hmm.
balances out. But then all of us hate the French, so we stick together because we really hate the French. But we hate the Germans more, so we'll fight with the French against the Germans if we have to,
Uh-huh.
and so on.
Wow.
It's the only reason
I
that
kind of
we're still together.
I kind of get that feeling. And see, here's the thing that I just realized a while back. Like, the British flag and everything. Me being from America, I could care less about the British flag. It's just I know what it looks like, but I mean, why does it matter that much to me? And then when I figured out, like they were talking about the British flag, how it had everybody else's flags in it,
Mhm.
and that whole deal. And did they take one of the flags out here recently,
No,
or were they going to?
not that I remember.
I think it was the whole Brexit thing. I think they were like going to take another one of the country's flags out. Or it may have been fake news. They may have been trying to make you think it was going to happen.
I don't know. I've been kind of not paying attention, but yeah. But like, yeah, the rules are if you cast a Scotsman or an Irishman, you have to switch the actor so that he is not. And then if you have a Russian guy, he has to be played by a Scotsman for some reason. They've kind of fallen away from that rule, but
That is the craziest thing.
that seemed to be a big thing for a while. Scotsmen had to play Russians. But yeah, no, I see what you mean about him. He was one of the Kitchen Irish though, that guy. So I don't know if he would come back as Jigsaw, but I still cringe a little bit from the Jigsaw from Warzone. I really liked Punisher Warzone, but the Jigsaw character was way overdone.
Yeah, I watched Punisher Warzone the other day. I sat down and made myself watch it, and it was really bad.
See, I get really annoyed watching that film because it could have been great. I like all the actors in it. They're all good. Well, not all of them, but they're mostly good actors. And there's some brilliant moments in it, like some amazing moments. And for me, Ray Stevenson will always be the best Frank Castle. Everybody has their favorite, and he's mine. But the actual movie was a pile of shit.
Man of Action's mad at me. I must have said something wrong about the flag.
Oh dear.
But yeah, the second Frank Castle, the Warzone movie, it was really good there for a while, and then like when the bad guys started acting really cartoonish and cringy, I lost it.
Yes.
I just
And
lost it
it's
from there.
exactly what you said of we want him doing street level stuff and shooting and punching people in hallways. Um,
And when there was one scene when Jigsaw and his henchmen was walking down the street and they were doing some kind of like over exaggerated cartoonish walk,
yeah, they were
and
marching because they were doing like a recruitment drive and they had like old
yeah, I
American
lost it.
World War II. Oh God.
And it was still okay when they were standing in front of the gangsters and they had the American flag behind them. You know what? That was still okay. But when they started doing the silly stuff, I was like, oh gosh, it's over.
It was weird though because it was
uh,
like they made it too complicated, which is what ruined it. Like if they just made basically
hmm
like John Wick
Yeah,
kind of Rambo something like that, it would have been fine.
John
But
Wick
they
is
had
one
to
of
go
those
and make it too
movies.
complicated.
John Wick is one of those movies that's going to be really good, but then everybody's going to oversaturate it and everything, and then nobody's going to like it anymore.
I'll still like it.
Oh, I'll still like it, but then the other fan base is like, I'm tired of John Wick. Can we have something else? Bring back Neo.
uh,
Don't even get me started on the Matrix. The last Matrix made me so upset. But
it was, I don't know. It was weird. It was a
you
good
could have
movie,
done
but it
that.
wasn't a Matrix movie, if you get what I mean.
You could have done that in such a different way. I don't know if you ever watch any anime, but you know how Gurren Lagann ended. Uh,
No,
do you watch any of that?
I don't. I'm not an anime fan.
It was very over exaggerated because the general storyline anyway was exaggerated, but that was the point of the show. Like it made sense because they kept going beyond the breaking point over and over and over, and just doing silly things to the point to where they were gigantic and they were attacking each other and they were throwing universes at each other, fighting, and that makes sense when you do it the right way. But when you get out of hand with stuff, a lot of times I'm just like, I don't know. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But anyway, we're talking about comic books, aren't we?
We were once upon a time.
uh, it says, "Are you going to read the John Wick comic?" I know Chroma Point is hesitant on it. Probably what I'll do is I'll try to find like some kind of digital copy and check it out, and then if it's not any good, I'll just forget it exists.
Yeah, me, it's like I really, really, really love the films, and when I heard the comic was coming out, I was happy. And I saw the creative direction they were taking, and I think they're going to really do a good job of it. But it was this thing of like, I don't want him to have an origin story, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we've already had the origin story. It was the first 30 minutes of the movie.
Well, yeah, I guess, but like, I like it. I want it to be a bit mysterious. Like, see, even I think Diversity in Comics mentioned it briefly. Was they were going to do something related to him being in the Marines or whatever. And I was like, oh, too much info. I didn't even want to know that. Like, I don't want to know anything about his past almost because it'll never be as good as not knowing, if that makes sense. So
Hmm.
I think the comic is really going to be good. And I hope it sells well, but I don't know if I'll pick it up because I'm a complete spaz.
Yeah, it's one of those deals where it doesn't need to be done, and let's just move on and let's do something else really good. Like, let's not make. Why is there a James Bond comic? Why are they doing another Kingsman book? Things like that. It's just, I think that wasn't the Kingsman already a comic book,
Yeah, that was a comic first.
and then they have a new series out because the movie's out. And I'm kind of like, you get close to that oversaturation sometimes to where you know that the people that watch the movie are not going to read that comic book, right?
Exactly. And then the people that were fans of the comic are like looking at it like, well, you only made this not because you felt the story needed to be told, but because the movie was coming out.
Yeah, it's like we got to get out as many different things that we can make money on quick and fast. And the John Wick thing, I just have a feeling that it's going to be one of those. It's really a nothing burger when it's all said and done because,
Yeah, I think
like,
it'll be really faithful and I think it will be stylish and I think it will be well made, but I don't think it's necessary and I don't like you say, I don't think there'll be any real substance to it.
yeah,
Um because I mean
because you
there's
already
a
know what's
reason they
going to
didn't put
happen.
that stuff in the movies is because it wasn't necessary for the
Yeah,
movies. So
you already know what's going to happen though.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And like the part of the reason of the success of the character in the movies was the fact that the intro scene was like, well, not the intro scene, but like the intro to Who is John Wick.
Hmm.
It was this really scary, hard, dangerous man shitting himself and telling somebody else a story about it. And that was so cool. Like there was no flashback sequences, there was no
Hmm.
training montages. It
Yeah,
was just a guy telling you how badass this dude is. And I thought that is like so minimal but so
he's
perfect.
the
So
guy
to
that you
then go and
send
fill
to
in the
kill
blanks
the
seems a waste.
boogeyman. But he said he's the guy that you send to kill the boogeyman. I was like, oh man, I'm ready.
Yes.
So Man of Action says John Wick is an ex-Marine. On the subject of Wick, they are going to make an extension universe as well. TV show, alternate movies, comic tie-ins, etc. Oh my gosh,
See, I don't think that
I'm worried.
I liked the fact that it was Russian mafia as well. So like in my head, not knowing like there's this trend just now, and this is how Die Hard came about. If you remember back in the 90s, right? Everything in the 80s was either special forces or a soldier or a marine or something like that, and
Black
then
Ops.
yeah, something like that, and then he comes home and something bad happens, or he gets sent on a special mission or whatever. And then everybody was so sick, fed up of that, that they just had John McClane come along and ruin it all. Like he's
Yeah,
just like, nah, I'm just a cop, but I'm a badass, and like everybody's like, whoa, this is so cool, like just an ordinary guy. And then so like now everything it's the same again. Everybody has to be a marine or special forces, whatever. And I was just like, really, you made him a marine? Not that I've got anything against the Marines, but it's like everybody's an ex-marine, like in
exactly.
action stuff. And it's like, could you
They
not
think
have just
that,
made him like a kid that came from the streets and he's that hard? Like, would that
yeah,
not have been
exactly.
cooler?
Like, look at Luke Cage. I mean, he was just like, wasn't he a cop or something? And then, he wasn't anything super special.
Yeah, and I
Um,
mean, like, maybe they didn't want to make him Russian for whatever reason, but like, see when the wall came down, all the Spetsnaz special forces from Russia had to go find other work, so they became cops or they became paramilitaries or whatever. So something like that set in Moscow with John Wick, that'd be awesome. But like, nah, he was a Marine and he went into jail, and I'm kind of like, I've kind of seen this before. It's like a bit of a mishmash between the Punisher and maybe Shawshank. I don't know.
so Dark Philly says, the big cute blonde Russian in the Die Hard, the huge one, he was a ballerina. I did not know that.
What?
She said the big, huge, cute blonde Russian in Die Hard was a ballerina.
Oh, the
Uh,
one with the feet, the one with the tiny feet.
it had to be the one with the tiny feet, or it had to be the big blonde, like the long-haired guy. It had to be one of those.
100,000 terrorists in the world, and I get one with feet smaller than my sister.
That movie is going to go down as one of the best movies of all time. I mean, I still quote that movie now when I'm walking around. It goes, "Go to the party," they said. "It'll be fun," they said.
Come out to the coast, have a few laughs.
Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho. That was my terrible Hans Gruber accent.
I won't lie, it was terrible.
It was pretty bad.
I'm sorry.
If I
I'm
hear
not
him
going to
talk, I
try
can
it
do a
because
little
mine
bit
will be
better.
just as bad. So
You could probably do it. Do you remember Galaxy Quest with him in it?
he was in Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, Cerberus Snape. He was in Galaxy Quest.
I had no idea about that. That's so
You
bizarre.
need
That's like that
you
time
need to
Tim
watch
Curry
that.
was in. Com- what was it? Red Alert or something.
Dark Philly. Nobody cares about Alan or Alexander Goodolph, the ballerina. Get off the ballerina.
Have we got still
But
people in the
anyway,
super chat? We've been going on a while. I just realized it's been like an hour.
but what was I going to say about the? Oh yeah, the Galaxy Quest. I don't know if you've seen it, but it was one of those shot in the dark movies, like the Lightning Bolt, that's really good, but was supposed to be a bad movie, but everybody tended to really like it.
No, I don't remember it.
Go
I
back and
think that's
watch
one
it
of these
because
ones I saw at
it's
a
one of those
friend's
that's worth
house,
it.
like sleeping over and just fucking fell asleep during it.
Probably did.
Because I'm
Um,
sure I've seen it, but I can't remember anything about it.
I love the part where see it's got what's his name, Tim Allen in it, and Tim Allen has this glass house because he used to be a famous actor, now he's just a bum, and he falls asleep and passes out in the living room, like laying like face down with just a shirt on. And the other people come to the door and they're knocking on the door and everything. And they see him laying in the floor, and it's like the aliens that are coming to see him, and they don't realize that he's like passed out drunk, hungover, and he wakes up. First, he gets on all fours and shows them everything, and then he turns around and stands up, faces them, and all he's got is a shirt on.
Oh man.
It's the funniest thing because they don't realize, they're aliens. They don't realize anything's wrong, but he's like staring at them like, "Why are you staring at me like that? I'm sitting here half naked." But you really need to watch it. I like it. It's one of those that when it comes on, I go back and watch it. Like I'll stop what I'm doing and just watch whatever point it's at. I'll just watch it. There's these really funny little blue aliens in it, and they look really cute, but then they turn out to be murderous, like rabid creatures.
All right, okay.
And I have a feeling that that's the way the porgs are going to be in Star Wars. They're going to be really cute,
Oh
and then they're going to turn
Jesus!
out to be the critters from the '80s movies.
I was raging about The Force Awakens because I really didn't like that movie at all. But like I was properly angry in the cinema because I was waiting for Luke Skywalker. It was the whole reason I went to see the movie, and I'm waiting
Hmm.
and I'm waiting and I'm waiting. And just by the time he turns up and he doesn't even speak, I was so ready to throw my drink at the screen. Like,
Oh yeah.
fucking love Luke Skywalker.
See, that's one of those. See, I'm very unjudgmental when it comes to stuff until somebody points out a flaw, and then I see every flaw in the rest of that production.
All right, so yeah, you'll kind of just coast along, and then
And then they'll say, "Hey, he shouldn't have done that," or "He that's not right," or "He's wearing the wrong outfit," and then I see everything wrong the rest of the movie.
I get what you mean. It's like your critical brain switches on, kind of thing.
Because I liked Star Wars Force Awakens just because I wanted a Star Wars movie. Like it had been so long since when it had come out,
Yeah,
and
I think that's
then
the only reason most people like it, honestly.
exactly, and then whenever it came out, and I started watching reviews of it and everything, and people were talking about it, I thought, oh no, they ruined it for me.
Yeah, I try and I, I'm kind of like you that if I'm not paying too much attention and I liked it, I'll just leave it alone after that.
Hmm.
Like if I manage to escape unscathed, I won't go back again.
Exactly. And see, Star Wars made me mad because they had a chance to do something really different, and they just decided to make a giant Death Star,
Yep,
and so then they said that there's the chances that in the next movie there's going to be three Death Stars,
I hope that was just a joke. Like I really hope.
and I'm just like, there's so many different things you could do. There's so many books for Star Wars right now that you could do. Like there's the one where those bugs were attacking everything, and Luke Skywalker's trying to stop them with the lightning. And then there's Death Troopers where everybody was zombies. And
Yeah, I've
then
said this about like all the coolest stuff in Star Wars happens not in Star Wars. Like it's really annoying. So it's like you get the Clone Wars film, which was I like the prequels. I won't maybe it's sacrilege, but I like all six of the old movies. Well, five. I don't think anybody can really like the Phantom Menace, but I like pretty much all of the movies.
see, I like
But
that
like
one.
all the coolest shit happens between the films.
Yes,
So it's in comics or books or you hear about it and you're like, where was the I wanted to see that happen. What the fuck were you doing? Why are the Clone Wars
exactly.
not a movie?
Well, see that I liked the Phantom Menace, but I think it was because I really liked Darth Maul. Like anything Darth Maul was doing, I was watching the screen just because the makeup was so good.
Yeah, he was a
Uh,
badass. He was awesome.
and then you had the pod racers. I mean, that was all that stuff was fun to me. I didn't even care about the story.
See, that's fair enough. I mean, like, I never want to talk anybody out of enjoying stuff. So, like, and I mean, I never
But I,
watched it. I never went back and watched it. So I kind of like, I watched it as a kid and I liked it. And then everybody told me it was shit. And I thought back and thought, yeah, that was a bit shit. But I never had to rewatch it again. So it's still kind of, occasionally I'll YouTube the end fight scene and that's it.
I really did hate the third one though. Like that was probably my least favorite. Revenge of the Sith, I just thought was stupid. And
That could have been a
but the
great
other ones I
film
kind
though.
of like. Yeah,
But
it could have.
they messed. It was a good fun film. There was loads of fun stuff and there was great action sequences and there was cool moments, but it was like there was so much of it that was just really on the nose
Hmm.
or didn't make sense. And
Like it
I
was
was
the
of the
ending.
opinion that what they should have done was Clone Wars or Attack of the
Hmm.
Clones.
Hmm.
That should have been the first one. That should have been episode one. Revenge of the Sith should have been episode two, and then there should have been a third movie, Darth Vader take over the galaxy, and then you get a
Exactly.
New Hope. And what we got was Revenge of the Sith, which was like I like it, I forgive it, but I know it wasn't a good movie. And then you've got like Rogue One, which is an abomination. I don't care what anybody says, that's an absolute abomination. And then
I
you've
like
got
that
A New
movie
Hope.
until the very end.
Oh, I didn't like anything about that movie.
I think it's I just like the actress. I think that's what it was.
I didn't even like her.
But I didn't like the whole thing where everybody died, so it ruined it for me. I hate movies where everybody dies.
Yeah, it feels a bit pointless. Like it's like
I don't, you know, it's like I won't. I see that's the reason I like comic book, superhero comic books is because there's a good guy, a bad guy, and the good guy beats the bad guy.
or there should be.
Yeah, and like that's what I want. I want a classic story. It's just like I did a review of the all new Wolverine today. I don't know if you watched it, but that book is teetering on being a good book here in these last couple of issues.
Yeah.
It's like if that writer knew a little bit more about um, writing and doing their job, that book could probably be good.
Yeah. There's see
And,
with comics, right? I can forgive or I don't mind somebody maybe bringing out an old story again and using that. I don't mind somebody like maybe people would say they're doing it wrong, but if they're deliberately changing something, so it's
mhm.
like that didn't happen that way, but they're changing the canon a little bit. That's okay too. But see if they just don't know, that really annoys me. Like if they just didn't pay attention, like if they're
And
changing
you
it,
can
fine.
tell
But
they
if they
don't.
just didn't know, then that's just stupid. And then the other problem is kind of like what you're going on with is, and I said this to somebody just earlier today. The problem with all the new generation of Marvel heroes and some of DC's is
Hmm.
what do they want? They don't
Yeah,
have a goal
but none of them.
of
They're just
any kind,
they
and
just
so there's
exist.
no reason to read their stories.
Yeah, they just exist. So the problem is these people that are writing these comics, they watch shows like Seinfeld too much, where people are just there,
Yep,
and they think that that's how books are supposed to be, is like TV shows. But the thing is, you need a beginning. Like this is a story. You need a beginning, middle, and an end. Like this comic book run is not going to go on forever. You need to know what you're going to do, and you need to accomplish something every issue.
yep.
And so, in that comic book that I read today of All New Wolverine, if they would take that book and they would say, "Look, we're not calling it Wolverine. We're going to call her All New X-23, and she's going to wear the Wolverine costume." Okay, just because maybe she's trying to honor Wolverine. You know, it's the black and gray one, so that's okay. And then you had the kid where she actually acted like a kid all the time, and you just
Hmm.
had them going on adventures, doing different things as a family. That would be better to me than what they're doing. Like right now, they're just existing, and they're trying to find out what's going on as far as what's just now happening with her mother. But they're not. There's not really that much conflict. I mean, they're just sitting around in the kitchen talking. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm not keeping up with it. Like, I only know what I know through the video reviews, and it's just like she has no reason to exist,
It's
and
just like She-Hulk.
it's kind of insulting to the reader base. I think like they're trying to
Hmm.
make us like her, and I just kind of like I don't like knockoff heroes. Like, I don't
Yeah,
mind if they want to make a young female new hero. That's fine. Or even bring back an old one. But like, why did they have to make it a Logan clone from another universe who's here? Who's fuck off? Like,
yeah, exactly.
uh,
Oh, is that where Gabby's from? Is she from another universe, or is it Laura that's from another universe?
I have no idea. I thought
To see,
oh,
there's
I can't
there's
remember.
Laura. Laura is the main one, and then she's got a younger sister now that's also a clone. Her name is Gabby, and she has one blade.
Oh, maybe it's not another universe then. Maybe it's just another experiment.
I think they're just experiments, and they're just very unoriginal. They don't know where to go with it. Uh,
Yeah, the Weapon
but
X
if
thing
you,
has been kind of weirdly convoluted as well. Like it used to be pretty
yeah,
cool. Like going back to the Deadpool thing from the original Deadpool, and
hmm
you remember there was Cable, but it was the Garrison Kane Cable.
Hmm.
So you had basically the Bionic Man, and then you had Deadpool, and then you had like Maverick, and you had Wolverine, so, and you had Sabretooth, and they were all like aside from Wolverine and Sabretooth, really different to each other, and they had all different
Hmm.
styles, and they kind of complemented each other because you had
Yeah.
like the sharpshooter and the tactician and the rabid animal and the wacky Deadpool, and like they were all completely different as well. Like Wolverine, they would try to make him, have the metal claws. Sabretooth, they tried to make him like, I don't know, like kind of Bane-like. And then Deadpool, they're just trying to make him kind of indestructible. And Garrison Kane Cable is like, he's got all these different bionics, so they're always playing with what upgrades are they going to give him. So that was cool. It was a military training program, like the Born Identity or something. It was just a program. Now it's just like Wolverine production line. Like, how can we make Wolverine claws on something? And then now they're
Yeah.
doing the Hulk thing, a Hulkverine. Like, fuck off. Like,
And what's
that's the
bad
most
about the
pointless thing ever. The Hulk's already indestructible, and I don't think he needs claws. And there's not
what's so
enough
bad
adamantium to make him.
what's so bad about the Hulk Wolverine is a lot of people have said that it's actually a good story. Like they
I
write him
think that
well.
they're desperate for a good story,
I
so
think that's the thing too. But
they've just
here's my
grasped.
thing. Here's my thing. Let me ask you something. I'm gonna sell you a backstory for X-23. I'm gonna see if you like it. Uh,
Okay, shoot.
so I was saying that they need to do the all new X-23 instead of the all new Wolverine and have her actually have something to do, like you were saying.
Hmm.
So why not have her as soon as Wolverine disappeared, as soon as he was dead? There was that void. And why didn't they have it to where Dakin found out about him being dead and wanted to use this opportunity to start running amok and wreaking havoc? And then the only person that could stop him was X-23. And
Now,
so,
against all my expectations, you've actually sold me on that.
yeah, and then from that point on, like he finds out about Gabby, which is the younger sister, and he wants to steal her away and either use her body for experiments or maybe try to raise her as like an evil underling or something. And then Laura's trying to
Yeah, because
stop
what
her.
you could do is you could have if you do exactly what you've said, right?
Hmm.
And you know how they had the whole Frank Miller Japan Wolverine thing going on? You
Yeah,
could have it like is it Gabby? Laura's the older one,
yeah, Laura's the older one.
right? So she's gone to Japan to follow in Wolverine's footsteps and learn all the martial arts and shit like that. And so she's
Hmm.
like taking on the mantle to honor Wolverine, but then Dakin's or Dakin or whatever has taken it on to ruin his legacy. And then you could have like
Yeah, maybe
because you've
she
got
maybe
Gabby
she
stuck in
meets
the
him in
middle,
Japan.
rather than have like just a cat and mouse of who can capture the kid, it's like they're trying to convince her, so they've got to like in the writing say who's got the better ideas, and they've got to convince the kid why to be a hero is a good thing,
Exactly.
rather
Yeah,
than just steal her.
and then it could end with a point to where Dakin is pretty much got the upper hand, because he's really smart and he's really strong as a fighter. To the point to where they can't beat him, and maybe she has to find a way to get Wolverine out of the adamantium shell that he's in, and then at the last second, the last issue or something, she finds out a way to get him out, and he just like busts out and starts kicking tail.
Yeah, they needed a moment like that rather than just the way they brought him back. Like they shouldn't. They fucked up from the beginning because they should not have used the old man Logan thing. Like they said, "Oh, Wolverine's dead and he's staying dead," and then in
Mm-hmm.
classic Marvel style, they backpedaled because they think that they've been clever by bringing back old man Logan. It's still Wolverine. He's still in the Wolverine slot on the team. It's still the same guy. You didn't keep
And,
him dead. You
and
couldn't keep your promise.
what's so bad is they've done a pretty good job with Old Man Logan, so they pulled a Deadpool and put him in everything.
Yes, yeah, too much of a good thing, absolutely. And I even reviewed the Berserker where he lands in Times Square, and it wasn't actually a bad book at all. I still think it shouldn't have been done, but it was not a
Mm-hmm.
bad book at all. And then the character, how can you not like that character? He's still cool. But yeah, his return in Legacy was like insulting. He just appears and like lackluster stabs some troll looking guy. and has Barf's cosmic cube wrapped around his neck or something like
Yeah,
that. What is it? Like he's in a
it, it's
necklace?
it's it's such a he had it in his hand. He was just holding it.
Oh, right. It was. Oh,
It's
fuck's
it's
sake.
such a Deus Ex Machina.
uh,
Like it's to the point where it's just sad. Like, why didn't you have it to where that somebody just busted him out? I mean, he's basically in there just waiting to be woken up. I mean, just go get him out.
yep.
Maybe they could do some kind of okay, we figure out this way, but to do it, we've got to charge it with like 40,000 gigajoules, and we've got to hit it at a certain point. Blah blah blah. So like she's fighting Dakin at the same time. All this stuff is happening. Gabby's trying to hook up the controls to the rock to get him out. In the last second, boom, Wolverine busts out. What's going on? Attacks Dakin. That ends with that. Everything's back to the way it was, and then we start the new Wolverine book.
Well, if you want the characters to stand on their own, you could even have just like come up with a method of like that doesn't work, and they have to find another way to beat Dakin. Like they can't rely on Wolverine, and
Exactly.
and then you bring him back some other way. But I mean, if you're going to bring him back, then it has to be something like that. It has to be a climax. But yeah, I don't know what the hell they're doing. But oh,
They
who
don't
we
know
got in the
what they're
super chat
doing.
by the way? Obviously, I can't see it, so I'm like,
We've got like 9 or 2 people now, so we'll probably close it up here in just a second. I know you got somewhere to
oh, I was just going to go to my bed,
go.
because I want to be semi-functional tomorrow.
Oh yeah, no problem. Well, we can wrap things up here. Does anybody have any questions that they want to ask us before we leave? We'll see if they're. And while we're waiting on them to ask some questions, I don't know. I keep bringing this up because I'm kind of hung up on this right now. But do you read any of the Max books in the Max comic books?
I read all the Punisher Max, and I think I read was it Fury Max, but I
Hmm.
don't think I've read anything since those.
I don't know if I asked you this already, but who's your waifu? Somebody said, "Who's your waifu?" I don't know. Probably gonna be what's her name from Gurren Lagann, or let's see, who else did I really like? I like Sky from Agents of Shield. She's probably one of my favorite ones.
The
But what
TV
about you?
program,
Yeah, the TV.
right? That's a good choice.
Yeah.
That's an obscure but good choice. I admire your you've thought about that one.
Yeah, and also it's been canceled. But do you remember that TV show Dominion?
Nah, I never caught that one.
The main girl on there, the main character on there. Yes, you need to watch that show.
All right, okay.
But what about you, Crumble Points?
So it's on screen or it's in print?
Well, anything to do with comic books, whether it be TV show or book wise.
That's a difficult one because I'm ever since I was a kid, like I never, if it was a female character, like if you got Wonder Woman or something, I would kind of look up to her the same way as I would Batman. I didn't really think about it that way, and I just kind of carried that on into adulthood. So, oh shit, I don't know.
Catwoman.
Emma Frost, I guess, is. You know
Oh,
what? No, I'm just gonna go with Mary Jane. Mary Jane Watson
yep,
has to be.
that's a
But
good one.
yeah, it's fairly straight down the middle. But
Let's see who. Uh, Black Cat from the animated Spider-Man was a good one. Somebody said Tarna from Heavy Metal. I
oh
don't
yeah,
really
I was
know.
just thinking of not Black Cat. I was just thinking of Marvel ones. I never even thought about other comics.
Um, Jean Grey. I always liked Jean Grey in the X-Men TV show.
Yeah, that's a good choice. I always thought she was like half naked as a kid because they gave her like the skin colored outfit,
Yeah,
and I was just like,
I
why is she
didn't
not wearing any clothes, and why has she got weird pouches on her skin? And it was like, oh right, wait.
see. That's what I thought too.
Well, they're mutants. You're like, have you just got weird skin bags?
Uh, let's see. All right, so yeah, I gotta get off here. I got somewhere I gotta be, but hey, thanks for coming on, Crumble Point.
Yeah, and thank you for having me. It's been a good chat. Like, it's nice and easy to talk to you.
And everybody go follow Crumble Point. He's also got a YouTube and a Twitter as well that he does reviews and talks about stuff and makes fun of things. And he's very funny. So you guys go follow him.
I hope you've not bigged me up too much now.
And also everybody that's listening, go to Teespring and buy my T-shirts. Okay, I've got merchandise out of the Underground Geek T-shirts that Dark Philly made. So go out there and buy it. Give me your money.
It's like an actual businessman and everything. That's crazy. You've got an actual
Exactly.
brand.
I know. And see, Dark Philly made my icon here, and she worked really hard on it. And it's a Venomized Kamina, and I don't know. She worked on it for like weeks before she got it right, and that's why I was like, everybody, check this out.
It's a really good logo, actually. It really is.
I like it because that's a Gurren Lagann character there, and then it's Venomized,
Hmm.
so it's like the best of both worlds.
But yeah, cheers to everybody on the chat and everything. Hope you
Yeah,
guys had fun listening to our ramblings, our insane ramblings.
yep. We're just always rambling. That's what we do, but that's why it's fun because you get to hear us talk and you get to like get different opinions on things, and not everybody's just living in an echo chamber.
Yes, indeed. And it's good to get to know everybody a bit better as well.
Oh yeah. All right, guys. We'll talk to you later, and I guess wait till our next live chat.
Yep. See you next time, guys.
Bye, guys.